Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, a small contribution comparing to the excellent presentation we see before. Repair and strengthening of damaged reinforced concrete slabs with carbon fiber reinforced plastic. This research was conducted with EDF CEPTEN. The outline of my presentation, first the objectives, then I will present the experimental methodology with the experimental device system, the test setup, the specimens, the characteristic of the specimens, and test procedures. Then, of course, test results, and I will finish with some simulations of the experimental tests, and finally the conclusions. The objectives is to gauge the capacity of slab when it was submitted to bending and also membrane loading, and to gauge this capacity for the unreinforced case and for the reinforced case, of course. We want to check about the initial rigidity before reinforcement and after reinforcement. We want to check about the post-crack rigidity, global rigidity, to see what is the benefits of the reinforcement, carbon reinforcement, and we want also, of course, to gauge the bearing capacity in the two cases. And then we want to gauge the pertinence of finite element method to find the results. To manage tests with bending and membrane loading, it's not easy. We have developed this specific test setup, and we can apply it, like you see, axial membrane loading in the Y direction. Even we can apply also membrane loading in the X direction. The method to apply this, we have this. We have here the concrete slab, and in yellow you can see that we have several hydraulic jacks, 12 hydraulic jacks, 6 per face, and we can apply membrane, a combination of membrane or bending load. How it works? This view can show you how we can obtain membrane and bending load. We have this part is fixed to the concrete slab, and in this part we have 2 hydraulic jacks. So each one can apply one load. If N1 equal N2, it means that we have only membrane load. But if N1 is opposite to N2, we have a bending moment. And if there is a difference, a gap between the two loading, we have a combination of membrane and bending moment. The configuration we studied is a square slab, 2 meter square slab. The thickness is 100 millimeter. We have 2 layers of rebars, and these layers are symmetrically positioned from the mid plane. We have 2 configurations of rebars, 8 millimeter diameter or 6 millimeter diameter, and the concrete coating is about 2 centimeter. We have 2 layers of rebars, and we have more rebars near the boundaries, because we have boundaries effects induced by the system of loading. We managed to have holes to put the system, the different hydraulic jacks. the loading history. First, we apply a membrane loading, axial compression in the y direction. We kept this compression constant. Then we applied bending moment until not really the failure, but approximately the failure. Then we unload the slab. We make the reinforcement. I will show how. And we make a second test with, again, membrane axial compression. We kept this membrane compression constant. We apply bending moment until the failure. This is what we done for the test for the slab 1 and 2. And for the slab 3 and 4, a different history. You can see that for the two first tests we have a damaged slab, but here we want to have a damage which is more pronunciated. We means that the cracks are in-depth crack. So we apply first bending moment plus minus M0, and with this loading we can have in-depth crack through the thickness of the slab. Then we apply the same history, membrane compression and bending. Of course, we have here another damage is initiated, and here, after a loading, we reinforce the slab, and finally we apply the last cycle to gauge bearing capacity and of course evolution of every rigidity, initial, post-crack rigidity, and of course the mode of collapse. The slab 1, after the first loading. The first loading consists of only applied axial compression and bending. After the first loading, we put two layers of carbon fiber reinforced plastic. The layers are 1.4 meter long and 300 millimeter wide. The thickness is about 0.45. For this test, the layer is stopped just near the hydraulic jack system. For the other tests, we first reinforced boundary condition, because we found for the other test that for the first test that the cracks initiate near the boundary conditions, and we have peeling of the carbon fiber layer. So for this second, third, and fourth test, we reinforce boundary condition first, then we apply cycles to initiate the damage, and then we reinforce the shell. The slab. The first results for the slab 1 with two carbon strips layer. The increase of rigidity is about 60%, and the increase of rigidity, post-cracked rigidity, the initial rigidity is the same. Post-cracked rigidity, we have an enhancement of 60%, and the increase of ultimate capacity is about 30%. The failure is obtained near boundaries of the strips. Here a photo of the obtained failure. Of course, during the first cycle we have several cracks. The distance between the cracks is about 100 millimeter, which is in adequation with the rebar's position. And the final major crack obtained at the extremity of the two layers. When this crack appears, the structure collapses. The second case, for the second case, I remember you that the boundary conditions are reinforced. For the second case, we gain more for the global post-crack rigidity. Here we obtained about 120% difference between the damaged configuration and the reinforced configuration. The increase of ultimate capacity is about 50%. So we obtain a better results for the two factors, rigidity and collapse capacity or bearing capacity. For slabs number 3, we do the same as for slabs 2, but we cycle to see what happened when first we initiate the cracks, but in-depth crack. You can see here plus M0 and minus M0 to initiate in-depth crack, crack through the thickness. And we have several crack through the thickness, and some cracks, the distance between cracks is about 100 millimeters. You can see that we obtain also an increase of the ultimate capacity about 41, which is quite the same as before, 50%. But here, knowing that we have in-depth crack, the global post-crack rigidity is really less than what we have before. The last test is to confirm the results, and we find that the bearing capacity is again about 50% enhanced, but the post-crack rigidity is only enhanced by about 18%. So the results are robust. We found that there is a reproducibility of the results between the 3 conducted tests. Here a photo of the cracks obtained for slab 2, but for slab 3 and 4 we found the same results. Initial cracks each 100 millimeter, and the distance between each crack is 100 millimeter, and finally major crack near the boundary condition of the layer, and we have debonding after major crack appearance. Numerical simulation, knowing that the system of loading is is complicated to modelize. We cannot do a simplified modelization. So we make a modelization with the system of loading. We have to modelize the system of loading to obtain good results. Here you can see the mesh. It's a classical approach with Dicati element, triangular shell element, which can combine membrane and bending effect. A classical law for concrete with Rankine criterion and Rickenbacker criterion, and of course multi-layered shell element to manage to see crack propagation inside the element. So we have several layers to manage damage initiation and damage propagation. Here the obtained results. There is a quite good agreement between experimental tests and numerical simulations. We obtained a good estimation of the bearing capacity. Even the initiation of cracks is well approximated, but for the test, the softening after crack appearance is more pronounced comparing to the numerical simulation. The drop is soft, and the drop here for the experiment is hard after initiation of cracks. So there is some differences, but to estimate the bearing capacity, the numerical simulations give good results. Conclusions: the repaired slab with the 2 carbon layer. We have studied, we have studied the repaired configuration and unrepaired configuration. The objective is to estimate global rigidity for the post-cracked regime. We found about 120% gain when the loading system is well managed, and when we haven't local initiation near the boundary condition of the cracks. For in-depth crack, this result is important. For in-depth crack, the enhancement of the global rigidity is less. It's about 10%. The numerical simulation give quite good results for the under-reinforced case. We have to work for the under-reinforced case to make the simulations. Until now, the results are not in good adequation for the case of reinforcement. Finally, I want only to show probably why this study, because it's a specific slab, only 10 centimeter thickness, 2 layers of rebars, because the idea is then after that to make the simulation of cooling towers. So cooling towers is a shell. Shell is submitted to membrane and bending loads, and we have in the kinematic bending and membrane cinematic. And more than that, we want to check different load history on this element, and this element can be a shell element for the tower. So it looks like a shell element, one shell element. We apply different loading history, and we try to find good adequation between numerical simulation and experimental tests. For complicated case, I mean by complicated case, the case where we have, for example, in-depth crack. Why in-depth crack? Because in cooling towers we have in-depth crack, and we want to check if reinforcement with carbon layer can really enhance the rigidity and enhance the bearing capacity. What we show here is that we can enhance the bearing capacity, but not really the rigidity. Thank you.